declarations of interest. We have no declarations of interest, so we'll move on to our community board presentations. First up is Sprayden Cashmere Heathcote, and would Callum and Kia like to come to the table, please? There's Callum. I can't hear him.
No, I can't hear him either.
Okay. All right, tēnā koutou katoa. Thanks for welcoming us back again today. So I'm here speaking on behalf of the Waihoro Sprayden Cashmere Heathcote Community Board. Here we go. Wrong device. Just to cover off some of the things we've been talking about at our board. So we've had the Hillmorton High School robotics team was sponsored by a board to go to Texas for the robotics world champs. They did really well. They represented our school, our city, our country at an event that's not often seen by our community board. So they came back to the board to show us the robot that they built, which was quite an unusual and fun board meeting. The Redcliffe Tennis Club have come to our board regarding looking for a new location for their tennis courts. They have actually showed interest in some of the red zone land around the Port Hills, the base of the Port Hills. Friends of Addington Park have come to talk about activating Addington Park to make it safer and more user-friendly for local children and families, and they've got some really great simple ideas, including fencing off between the playground and Barrington Street. And Sprayden Tennis and Kiruru clubs approached the board regarding getting set up with fibre to provide a better service for their communities. I guess a big topic I wanted to talk about today is the Port Hills red zone land. So significant action, comparing, say, to the Avon or Takaro River Corridor red zone land, where there was significant action taken and consultation taken around the way that land would be disposed of. We're not really seeing a similar approach here with this land, and although the land here is not contiguous like the Avon River Corridor, it is accompanied by a lot of community expectation. So what we're here today to ask for is a kind of a bit of a big picture overview of what should be done with this land, including community consultation. That might include, the land potentially being sold back to previous owners, or opportunities being given to the community for alternative uses before disposal. Even without the council advertising, they've received 2 or 3 inquiries a week have come into the council around, different parcels of this land being used by the community. So we know that even without a consultation process, that there is a huge amount of interest in the community around what's being done with this land. We've been waiting to hear for some years now about the process by which the community will be involved in that. There has been action within council to identify any land that's of interest to council units, but to date there's just been no comprehensive conversation held with the community at all. I guess for us this is a bit of a concern for us from a reputational risk to council. The current LTP budget is currently contingent on land sales from these parcels of land, and in principle, our board doesn't oppose that at all. Some of this land will be sold. It's not council's business to be owning prime real estate up in the Port Hills. But what we're worried about is the fact that there's been no process, is that the community will miss out on opportunities to either potentially have first dibs if they're a previous owner, or neighbours wanting to purchase adjacent property, for example, there's a property in Redcliffs with a big sign on it that just says stolen land. So there's a lot of high emotion around some of this property, and we're worried that by slipping it into a larger LTP process, it can essentially go through, not deliberately, but under the radar and not be noticed in the way that it should. And that's, I guess, asking for resentment and trouble. So we would like to see that this consultation process is decoupled from the LTP, and that it's held as a separate project that the community gets a chance to be involved in, more more comprehensively, and potentially even just delaying by 1 year so that we can have these conversations. The next annual plan might be sufficient. Also, big thanks to the outcome around the rebuild of the South Library. You're really excited for this to be continuing. It's great to have some continuity for the team working on the project. And we also know there's been a big process with mana whenua who are really invested in this as well. So we're glad that council is trucking on. And I think I'm running out of time, but I'll put up on the screen there, and a huge thanks to our community governance team for all the work they've done for us in the last year. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Spot on time. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okie doke. Next, we have Papua New Innis Central. Emma and Simon both here. Yep, great. Welcome.
Kia ora koutou. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you today. We're going to give you a quick rundown on what's been happening in our Waipapa Papanui in a central area over the past month. So first up, at our October meeting, we approved road names for the next stage of the Oak Bridge subdivision on Hawkins Road, as well as the installation of an irrigation system in Melvin Park by the Canterbury Rugby Football Union. We approved some timed parking restrictions on Cashel Street and Cambridge Terrace, and formalised the mobility parking at the Graham Condon Centre, and granted funding to Aratapu Preschool for the Whānau Hub Emotional Regulation Program.
In our October meeting, we heard from Sander Creek, who is the new incoming manager at the Phillipstown Community Hub. He gave us a rundown on the activities of the hub and raised with us again the long-term issue that the hub has been talking to us about, which is the security of tenure for that organisation to have a long-term secure base in that Phillipstown community. That's something that Community Board is continuing to work with the hub to support, especially in their discussions with Ministry of Education over the future of the site that they're on right now. We also heard from Rodora Sagles and Joe Arbuckle, who are reporting back on activities of Birthright Canterbury Trust. Birthright's kaupapa is to support single-parent families. They've been doing that for many decades now. They have staff in Christchurch and also in Ashburton, and have been recipients of support from our Community Board. And finally, we heard from a local resident promoting Biketober to us, which of course has just finished, and raising some issues around signage on one of our local roads.
One of our board projects for this year was to offer a Rangatahi Civic Award for schools to present. We have had 8 schools in the area take us up on the offer, with the first award presented a couple of weeks ago to Leah McCullum from Papanui High. We gave the schools some guidance on criteria for the awards, with a focus on civic awareness and community contribution, but left them to tailor it to their school. Our board members are looking forward to presenting the other awards at the end of year ceremonies in the coming weeks.
This past month, we had an event at McFarlane Park Centre, or we attended it. It was a gifting and thankfulness event to recognise the handing over of the McFarlane Park Centre building, which was originally gifted by Lions for use in St Albans, transferred to McFarlane Park, and now in the ownership of the Shirley Community Trust. So we had a tree planting there. There's a new mural in the background of one of those photos as well that we all had the opportunity to admire, and just acknowledging elected members who went along, and as well as council staff, as you can see pictured there, to recognise that occasion.
The Great Library Plant and Seed Swap was held at the Papanui Library last month, and as usual it was very successful. This amazing display welcomed residents to bring along their leftover seeds, seedlings and plants to share with the community. There were vegetable, herb, flower, native and heritage seeds available, along with spot prizes. It's a great way for people to learn about gardening, and we're really grateful to the support from local businesses, Maita 10 Mega, Ray White Papanui, as well as McGregor's Seeds and Yates Seeds.
Back at McFarlane Park, during the October school holidays, we had an event, Shirley Hoops and Hangs, which was run in collaboration between Council, Kia Kore Waitaha, Shirley Community Trust. Kia Kore Waitaha is a collaboration between a number of sports organisations and the 9 organisations that make up the Northwest Collective of community organisations. So really great to see all those organisations coming together and supporting an event. There was hair cutting, braiding, DJ, 3-on-3 basketball tournament and more.
One of the priorities in our community board plan is around mitigating the impacts of intensification in our board area, of which enhancing green space and planting trees is a vital part. There's been a lot going on in this space over the last wee while, with Paparoa Street school pupils continuing their mahi in the Rutland Reserve, that middle photo there. They've been working with our park rangers in this wetland area for several years now, and it's great to see these young people getting hands-on in their local community and becoming kaitiaki for the reserve. The first community planting day was held at Lancaster Park recently, which is one of the parks prioritised under the Urban Forest Plan. The focus for the day was on the southwest corner of the park with a range of native plants including sedges, rushes and flax planted. And then also there we have a photo of one of our edible and sustainable garden awards being presented to the Phillipstown Community Centre Charitable Trust for their amazing community garden.
And last slide, so Papanui Rotary Club celebrated its 65th anniversary recently. Councillor Henstock was involved in that event. Something that came out of that, as well as conversations with other organisations, is feedback we're hearing that some community organisations that are highly reliant on volunteers to sort of outwork their kaupapa, finding it a little bit more difficult now to recruit younger members. And we're just, as a board, we're just giving some thought to what we might be able to do to support organisations in their efforts to reach new volunteers, and wondering too if there's a role perhaps even for council there as well, in a no-cost way, maybe just through council communication channels to help promote organisations that are doing work in our community through volunteers and might be seeking to recruit volunteers.
That's us.
Thank you very much. That was a very colourful presentation. Those got great photos. We've got time for a few questions, if anyone. Pauline, Councillor Cotter.
Thank you. Just an additional comment to the reference to the Shirley Trust taking ownership of the little transitional centre. So that's another example of a community running a facility instead of the council. So it saves us money, and it's just such a better outcome for the community, and pretty cool. So we've now got Kuinga in St Albans and Shirley, two centres being run by the community, and really successfully. And the St Albans Residents Association is also seeking to run the Everleigh Park Hall, which is another little one we have. So I'm hoping that there's progress on that coming up, because it actually saves council a lot of money, so it's brilliant. Yeah.
Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have Horswell Holmby Rickerton with Helen and Marie, please.
Thank you for the opportunity. We've got the full photo there, but I'll go over to reports to the board. We had a notice of motion on Denton Park trees that went through. There's quite a lot of ugly old pines at the edge of Denton Park, which are affecting and have affected residents for a long time. So Mark Peters moved the notice of motion, and we're hoping you'll have a look at that during the long-term plan process. So it's recommending they be taken down in a staged way, but during the long-term plan process. Proposed road names: Awatere Road and Mary Carpenter Avenue. Horswell local play spaces. That was brought to us. There's 4 local spaces in Horswell. We let this lie on the table to do further consultation with the community. They were really putting the effort into 2 parks and leaving the others as natural parks, if in fact I can simplify that. So there's some further discussion about that. Hawk Avenue, again, proposed no stopping restrictions. In the Discretionary Response Fund, just a range of agencies there. In the Youth Development Fund, just pointing out a range of people. We've got 1 person going to the Hockey Junior Youth Cup, and 1 or 2 people are participating in the Australia Deaf Games. So it's really exciting, I think, to have people going overseas for sport or other activities. We had our forum and we've got quite interesting issues at that forum. Claire Mulcock, the Deans Avenue Precinct Society person, outlined issues and concerns regarding the vacant former Addington Saleyard site, and considers there has been a lack of coordination between parties interested in the maintenance of the area. So we'll look further at that. It's a large area that's been unused for many years, since at least 1995. We haven't been able to get much action on it from the owner, but he has lodged a resource consent, which has been approved. So if he proceeds with that, there'll be a range of apartments in that area which will be highly welcomed, but it is a problem in terms of maintenance, and people are using the site for sleeping basically and living, so it's difficult. The Selwyn District Traffic, David Horsell Residents Associations and John Bennett spoke to us regarding the volume of traffic travelling from the Selwyn District through to the City Council via Wincops Road, Horsell. This is an ongoing issue, very, very predictable. The chairperson of that community board and myself will meet to have a look at ways forward. The Denton Park trees, we had a deputation on that from a long-standing resident, and I've touched on that. And I think that's the end
I'll
for
give
me.
you a
Thank you.
progress on our community board plan priorities. Last month, September 12th, we launched a our Rickerton Collective launch with a very good turnout, and this was facilitated by our very own Councillor Harrison Hunt with the support of our very capable community governance staff. And this collective, Rickerton Collective, is an initiative aimed at fostering a stronger, safer, and more connected community in Rickerton. We've also produced the community picnic kit, which is available to lend out to the community free of charge, which would cater for up to 60 people. And this is a way of reducing costs and waste at community gatherings, such as the summer with neighbor events. The Huritini Council earlier this year showed a video produced by the Huritini Council, which is comprised of about 6 to 7 schools from Holswell. And so they've been actively promoting this Drive Safely for Our Safety throughout the year. And they've continued to deliver this throughout the Holswell schools. Bumper stickers sharing the message have been handed out and can be spotted around town. The Huritini Council members have been outside schools rewarding drivers, showing safe driving behavior and remaining patient during the busy drop-off and pickup time periods. And lastly, the Matatiki Hornby Center team member roles. Recruitment is underway for about 50 new roles at the Matatiki Hornby Center. And so a number of information and application support sessions have been held to help community learn about these opportunities and training support available. And that's it from us.
And I think I've forgotten an issue that you're debating later.
Part A.
Hayton and Wigram Road. If I could just touch on it, because I don't think we'll be able to stop for this. There's 2 issues. You're voting on the cycleway, and I don't think that's any difficulty. There was some contention at the board as to whether we had a speed table as well as traffic lights. The board voted on that to have the speed table there. It was a majority view, I think 5-2, but I don't think that is before council this morning.
That's correct.
So I think all your vote, because that's a Part C item, so it's the Part A item, which is the cycleway, which the board has no trouble with at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Good on you. Okie doke. So next we have Coastal Buoywood Linwood with Paul and Jackie. Welcome.
Well, first we'll just touch on a few highlights from the board area. We recently, the whole board, including councillors, met with representatives from Avonside girls and Shirley boys after it was raised at our principals' breakfast that there were some safety concerns with the path that goes from QE2 Pool, Taiora, through the school to Travis Road. And there's concern about that because it basically encourages people to come right through the middle of the school. So staff were present with us, and so we're going to try and work through that issue with the schools.
Good morning, everyone. Linwood Girls Group is something that I'm really keen on. It caters to girls from local primary schools, and I'd love to see this expanded. Currently, it caters to 20 primary age girls from local schools in Linwood with a waiting list of 9. And one of the things I really like about this, it does encourage personal development in the girls. It's not all about crafts and sport. So yeah, really would like to see this initiative expanded. Thank you.
There was an awesome event, the Parklands Whānau Fun and Games Night on the 17th of October at the Pukeko Centre with several whānau from students at Parkview Pārua School who had designed a whānau-friendly event. And the event was supported by the Pukeko Centre, the Queen's Park Community Trust and the Council. Great collaboration there with awesome community groups.
Now we have an up-and-coming event in the Woolston Village. We're having a twilight gala to celebrate the leasing of the community centre behind the library to Youthtown. Now this is an area in Woolston that has had ongoing concerns with an unsavoury element in the car park with begging and homeless people. So Youthtown moving into this facility is just brilliant for Woolston.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
Having this, we have had some resistance from a few members of the community, but I think having this event combined Youthtown with Council to celebrate this and to coordinate with the community to see how they're going to use it going forward is going to be brilliant. And that's on the 28th of November from 4 till 7:30. So you're all welcome.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you all there.
Yeah.
Just to finish off, the organics processing plant is still there and it still stinks. It needs to close. It's coming into high pong season where there'll be a lot of grass clippings. We just want to remind you that it has been 14 years and this community was told for 2/3 of that there was no problem. This is sown massive distrust and that has been further compounded by the poor handling of the wastewater treatment plant fire. Sorting these two issues, the organics processing plant and the wastewater treatment plant, as well as completing earthquake legacy projects, should be a top priority for the council. The council as an institution needs to commit itself to, as the independent report into the response to the fire says, prioritising, strengthening and sustaining effective and respectful relationships with Eastside communities so as to regain their trust and confidence. The review suggested that as part of the 2024 LTP process, the council should consider specifically engaging with the communities in the eastern suburbs. When will this happen? The improvement plan only cites what is happening in every ward. What will be done to engage the east specifically? And to be frank, our community board doesn't have the information we need yet to be able to provide meaningful input into the LTP process. The independent review recommended that council develop a relationship management strategy for the east. We support this being co-developed with the local community and key partners in our community board, as the improvement plan process says. The start of this, I suggest, is for the CE to meet with the community board and to decide together how to proceed, listening deeply and intently to the people we represent. We will need to put in place a structured process from the outset, focus on gathering and addressing the needs and concerns of the community and prioritising them, followed by community mapping, stakeholder analysis, inclusive stakeholder analysis, and engagement, local leadership involvement, and coordination with key stakeholders. This isn't something that will happen in 6 months. It will take years. The improvement plan, the relationship management strategy, and the incident management teams, they will all need work plans and funding in the LTP, or they will not happen. It was only 20 years ago that the Christchurch City Council was the best governed city in the world. In 2003, we last received that award, and we can be that again. I suggest that the road back to that starts here with working with the Eastside community.
Thank you. All good. Right, we do have some time for a 1 or 2 questions if anyone wants one. No, you must have done a fantastic job. Thank you very much. And item 12 is coming up later on today with the independent reviews.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Banks Peninsula, Lynn and Penelope, please.
Morena.
Hello again.
Once again, it's my pleasure to update you on what has been happening this month in Te Pātaka o Rākauhautu, Banks Peninsula. We are minus one person from that picture that you can see there of our team this week as we said a sad goodbye to Ruben as he goes on to the bright lights in the big city of Wellington as an MP for Christchurch East. We will miss him. Community funding had one application for the Youth Development Fund this month. We love supporting local young people to gain experience in areas of their passion. Like Julia, who applied for this fund, she'll be attending a dance tour in New York and Orlando, and that just sounds amazing. Such a great opportunity for them. A decision was made to support our reserve committees by extending the deadline on special conditions. Peninsula Reserve Committees are such a great example of how the people on the ground can support their community by committing to a place for the betterment of those around them. I acknowledge their commitment and thank the staff for their ongoing support in this process. Also, the Community Board agreed to include the Purau Residents Association in the Head-to-Head Walkway Working Party membership. Moving forward well. With glad hearts, the Board continues to see healthy progress on our Community Board plan priorities. This month, around Priority E, good social and physical connections, through our support of Littleton Recreation Ground Reserve Committee, who are discussing the exciting new layout of the field and the concept plan for the Change Pavilion. All very good stuff. In our community engagement section, a grant provided by Cressy Trust towards running the summer season of Hydrocise sessions and allowing the balance classes to continue. It's such great programs. Community focus. It was the shining brightness amongst the great events held regularly on Banks Peninsula is the Akaroa French Fest. Such a buzz was created in the village that they are still riding the wave of enthusiasm as we speak now. Sorry. That's all right. The Akaroa French Fest beautifully celebrates the unique and cherished heritage of Akaroa, with live music, incredible food, and a showcase of the arts illustrating the richness that Banks Peninsula offers. A particular highlight, The Landings, is performed on the beach, which tells the story from the first people, Waitaha, right through to the arrival of the French. Everyone in the community is invited to take part and be part of the Akaroa French Festival in some way, and they have helpers ranging from the school kids through the local clubs who provide the labour. It's an ever-evolving and growing event that honours and celebrates our unique place in the motu and in our time in history. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say I was at French Fest, and it's every 2 years, and this year I believe they had just over 700 tickets sold. So if anyone wants to get into it, not next year, the year after, get along there, and you may even see an idiot like me trying to dance can on the stage, which was very pleased that didn't go on Facebook. But it was a fantastic event. The quality of the performers was, not me, outstanding. So thank you once again.
Great. I will pass that on to those involved. Thank
Very
you
well
for
done.
that.
Very well done.
Appreciate it.
Something the
Hey.
council would like to continue to support, Mr. Mayor.
Apparently, yes. I knew I'd get it. Thank you, Tora. Okay, so lastly, we have Fendleton, Waimari, Harewood, and it's just Bridget today. Thank you.
Morena, everyone. So, kia ora. So, first up, with what's been happening in the Waimero Fendleton Waimari Harewood Community Board this month is a range of decisions were made under delegation from stopping restrictions to approving discretionary response fund applications to youth development fund applications as well. And then as part of our locally run speaker series, our community governance team recently facilitated a mental health hui for our local community groups. This hui was a follow-up to the Navigating the Mental Health Sector workshop that was held last year. A number of local groups report that they are seeing an increase in the number of people coming to their organisations for support who have mental health issues and in some cases quite complex needs. Our local groups don't always have the capacity to provide the necessary support these people may need, so they are keen to engage with community organisations who provide the services that they could refer people to. Speakers on the day included Step Ahead Trust, Youthline, He Waka Tapu, Stepping Stone Trust and Te Mana Ora. There are really good discussions between the participants during the breaks, and we've had really positive feedback from the event. The hui was live streamed and recorded and can be accessed on our board's YouTube channel. Disc golf has taken off as a really popular recreation activity across the city. Our course at Jolly Park is extremely well utilised, with anywhere between 300 and 500 participants playing on Sunday. The benefits of disc golf include improving physical health and well-being, providing upper and lower body conditioning and aerobic exercise. Players of limited fitness levels can start slowly and gradually increase their level of play as their fitness improves. As a result of the large number of players, the club identified a number of baskets in need of refurbishment or repair. Our board was pleased to be able to support them with this by providing some funding through our discretionary response fund. As they remove the damaged baskets, new baskets will take their place so as not to impact on the course usage. We wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to a new group that has been established in our board area. The Asian Community Transformation Trust is focused on providing support to local community, particularly in the areas of mental well-being, children, youth and families, community services, and research and education. One of their recently launched initiatives is a monthly family forum, which aims to provide education, information, and a strong sense of community in the Mandarin-speaking community. During the months of June and July this year, their events attracted 220 adults and 60 children. They have a strong and dedicated volunteer base of around 27 people. Our local development advisor, Karen Bogue, has been supporting the group through their initial startup phase and continues to provide advice and planning support. Our board was pleased to be able to provide operational funding to them through our recent Strengthening Communities funding round. And of course, it's that time of year again to save the date. Our annual Celebrate Bishopdale event will be taking place on the 25th of November at Bishopdale Park. This is a great family-friendly event with free activities for children and wonderful stage performances from local groups. At the same time, we will also be hosting our Bishopdale Skate Jam at the recently upgraded Skate Bowl at Bishopdale Park. This event continues to attract a large number of young people who get the opportunity to have a go and learn new skills. This event is run in partnership with the skate school team. So pop the date in your calendar now, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for letting us present this report today.
Thank you very much, Bridget. That was really good. Thank you. Right. Thank you to all the boards for their presentations. I'll now ask for a mover, which is Jake, and a second, which is Sarah. To receive the monthly reports for the community boards. All those in favour? Against? Certainly, yes. I thought you were seconding.
I did. Just a comment on Callum's presentation for our community board, in that next month, because the timing of the meetings doesn't work out so well, there was a slide there that talked to some board recommendations on the Port Hills properties. And next month there will be a part A, but Callum was talking to it now to give us a heads up. So for many, many years now since the earthquakes, the communities that live along the Port Hills and probably in Whakaropo, Littleton Harbour as well, that have been red zoned, have waited for a process by which the communities can help have input into what happens with that land. There are over 600 properties. If they were all contiguous, it would make up, a decent sized suburb that was red zoned along the Avon-Otakaro River corridor. That area, of course, had a really large community engagement process to work out what was going to happen to that land. And the communities across the Port Hills have been told that that would eventually happen for them. And in fact, we did have some very early initial conversations when Ivan Iafeta was even in charge it sort of involved at Sarah back in the very old days. But what has recently come up is a list of sort of 80 odd properties to be sold without that broader conversation about the group of properties. And so our board's really keen to have a holistic consultation that looks at all of those properties as one, with maybe a council staff recommendation on which ones could or should be sold, which ones should be revegetated, and the wider community can have their say on that as a holistic plan before any properties get sold. And so that's coming up as a Part A next meeting, but councillors will need to take that into account as we're doing our long-term plan, draft planning and stuff as well. So thanks.
Okay, thank you for letting us know. So I will now put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Thank you, that's carried. You got it, Katie? You all good? Yes. Okie dokie.